So good morning. We are joined by Graeme and Tyler at Blutui, who some of you will know from previous sessions. For some, they will be new faces. They are going to chat about how modern agencies are restructuring delivery to scale profitability. So it's specifically designed for agencies who are navigating rising delivery costs, margin pressure, and increasingly complex client demands. And guys, as you know, we've got some new people joining, so it would be great if you can give us a bit of an introduction first, and then take it away.
Brilliant. Thank you, Elaine, and thanks for setting all of this up and getting all these fine people on the call. Hi everyone, I'm Graeme Blake. I'm founder and CEO of Blutui. We've been partnering Tribe for a few years now, and some names I recognise and some I don't. So hi to all the people I've never met before. I'm joined by my esteemed colleague Tyler. I'm not sure which, there he is waving, who will be taking us all through a shared screen demo of the Blutui platform and some of the new technology. So some of you will have seen, had a run through the platform before. But what we're going to do is show you the new technology first, and then have a quick refresher of the complete platform. Shouldn't take too long, but the first bit's pretty interesting. By way of background, I am, I think, coming on 30-year veteran of indie agency ownership and management, and running studios, and heavily digital forward. Where Blutui came from is we were heavily digitally forward into leaning into websites, web apps, microsites, all of that, mobile apps, all of that sort of thing from early on. What we found is that as we grew and as we became more and more successful, the demands on the studio meant that we were having to get into more technologies, more tech teams, a lot more admin than we were bargaining for. And what ended up happening is that the more outwardly successful we became, the less margin there was in our business, because we were having to juggle lots of different teams, whether they were full-time or contracted in or whatever, and literally the studio's kind of tech landscape became quite cumbersome. It became expensive to run, and there wasn't a lot of margin. There was not a lot of profit in it at the end of the day. And so a few years ago, we identified that, sat down and had a good old chat with ourselves, and decided that we would rectify the situation by architecting a platform that is hyper efficient, completely geared to agency operations, and reduces the number of hands that need to touch a project. And so that's what we're here to show you today. Blutui is a fully white label agency platform that an agency can present as their own solution, talk to their clients about the commercials in the sense that they've got this lovely enterprise platform that is super fast, super easy to navigate, and it's hugely competitive. So you can have those conversations with absolute confidence, especially in these sort of, I'd say, worrying times of talking about man-hour billing or hourly billing is coming under the spotlight. And so there are lots of I'm sure that you're having lots of conversations with CMOs and clients about how are you approaching AI, and how are you approaching this kind of new wave. Well, Blutui represents and obviously in our view, but in our agency clients' views as well, an ideal way of leveraging AI but bringing a structured platform approach to digital delivery and production. So that's kind of the background. That's setting it up for Tyler to absolutely deliver a slam dunk presentation, which I'm sure he will. No pressure, mate. So yeah, I'll pass over to Tyler.
Thank you for that no pressure introduction, Graeme.
No problem.
Cool. So I'm actually just going to start by going through that workflow that Graeme was talking about. We're going to talk about this new interesting kind of developer workflow we've built, and then we can kind of get into some of the more nitty gritty parts of the Blutui platform later on. But so this is the agency console. This is the place where the advertising agency can manage all of their projects, their domains, their people, and their brand. Graeme may not have mentioned it, but Blutui is like a white label platform. So you can brand up the whole experience for your client as either your own agency's brand or that client's brand. So, you know, you can kind of hide behind it is your brand, and the login screen, all that kind of stuff is branded as your agency. So with the click of a button, I can view all my agency's sites. And here I've got this Burgatorium site here. Burgatorium is like a make-believe hamburger restaurant website we've built. So I can log into the back end of that site with the click of a button, and let's just take a look through it. So here I've got, I've got a homepage of some categories, a hamburger menu for my menu. What's going on there? Anyway, so I've got my homepage here for my site, and I can like navigate the site, and I can click on different parts of the text copy, and I can just do like an in-page editor. I can just like click on this text copy and just edit. This is the Canopy in-page editing technique. So it's like any content within a site, so images, logos, text copy, everything. I can just click on anything in the site and just update it in-page. But that's not that helpful. We want to do something a whole lot bigger today. So part of our agency's workflow is, your graphic designer would start maybe in Figma. They'd build out this whole new site or new page that you need to build, and they'll hand it off to the development staff to build it, essentially. So to start with, I need to get the site working on my local machine. So we have a tool called Blutui Courier. Courier is a tool that connects my local development environment to the Blutui cloud. So I can go Courier pull, download all my sites files incredibly easily. Now I can open up my project in whatever tool I want. So this is the Microsoft tool, and let's run Courier dev. And then now our website's running on my local machine. It seems very small, but this is something that can honestly take hours of work. A key part about Blutui is if this was a single page landing page, it would take 3 seconds to get going. If it was a 3,000 page web app, it would still just take 3 seconds to get going. There's no multiple half day of work of setting up databases on your local development environment. There's no configuring Nginx, all the stuff that honestly developers just hate doing. And let's say this was a 3,000 page property site, which is an example of a site that's running on the platform now. And someone added a new property or added some copy that somehow affected the page template. For me to accurately debug and fix that issue, I have to set up the entire site from the server running on my local machine. So that could take me half a day just to do a very small amount of actual work. With Blutui, within a few seconds, I can get going. And now I've got this whole site running on my local machine, and now I can actually get building. So what are we building today? This is Figma. This is the Figma file for the whole project. And we're going to be building this new Figma, this Figma file here. It's like a new store that's opening. So I'm going to go through to my VS Code, that window that I opened earlier.
So Tyler, so just for anyone on the call who needs a little bit of context, what Tyler's about to show you, if you're taking a Figma file in the traditional kind of development sense through to being a production file, you could quite easily burn through 3, 4, 5 hours worth of work. So while you're watching Tyler produce this, get this page production ready and then deployed, put it in the context of, it would normally be taking 3, 4, even say 4 or 5 hours traditionally. So far ahead.
Thank you, Graham. I'm just going to write a very basic prompt. I don't need to add much brand context because, well, I have a whole Figma file and I also have the entire project with the brand already on it. So I'm making this page from Figma and Blutui using Canopy elements. So that's like say, hey, make it in-page editable. Make the page in the CMS and also add some placeholder SEO. Make the you cool. I'm gonna give it a very, very basic prompt. There's not going to be much brand or anything here. It's just, well, it's all included already for the Figma file. So all I have to do is just approve a bunch of access from my AI agent here. The first part is going to be scanning Blutui documentation. So one of the big things we've done with developing the MCP is not just developing our API, but also writing documentation for robots. So they can, not robot first documentation, but documentation of robots in mind, so that that bot can easily navigate the intricacies of also building a Blutui site. Just so it can, for one, it can get things correct, and if it doesn't get things correct, using our very well-written API, it can also correct its own mistakes. So it's gone through, it's reviewed my documentation, and it's also accessed my Figma. So I didn't say, I just said build this page in Blutui from Figma. I didn't tell it, this is the file name or anything like that. It just knows that it's open on my computer, so it knows, hey, if this developer has this file open, it's most likely the one they want us to build. Now it's going through and it's going to create my file for my template, and then it's going to start by building some actual pages for me. So it's just kind of building a little to-do list at the moment. Cool. This is the first part. This is saying, hey, I want to create a form. And I'm going to allow it to create a form in the CMS. And the next thing it'll try to do is it'll attempt to make a page. Go.
So would it be fair to say, Tyler, that building forms is the bane of most front-end developers' working life?
Maybe second place behind setting up local environments.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, the whole point of this tool is to cut out the things that front-end developers hate and suck up honestly most of their time. So now they can do things that are truly creative. But in the meantime, we're done. I've now got my page and I've got my SEO, everything done. So let's take a look. I go to my localhost window. Let's new -store. Cool. We've made a minor mistake. It's given some HTML here, so we can go and correct that. We can go canvas. So it's accidentally given a list here of these strong elements. I can either just go in and just hit backspace on these, or I can go, hey, remove the strong tags. I could just backspace it myself, but we'll see if this is kind of showing that, hey, if I want to make changes to that existing design, I can now go and I can keep iterating and keep making changes. Maybe it could be a whole new section that I'm adding. But we're just going to do that one little thing. And I can see that this change has been detected by Courier. Now, if I refresh my local environment, it should be correct. Fantastic. So let's just test our format as well. Tyler, spelled wrong, but sure. Image. There's my phone number. Cool. So my form submits. That's obviously on localhost. Let's go back and take a look at our live CMS. I can now see that 2 minutes ago we made a page with some basic placeholder SEO. I've got my form that was just made, and the first incorrect form submissions there as well. So I'm like, cool, the form's working. The page looks how I want it to, which is this page right here, running on localhost. How do I deploy this thing? How do I actually get it to be live and working? Well, just as easy as it was for me to set up my local environment, it's just as easy for me to deploy this to the cloud. So it's just courier push. And then now this whole project has been packaged up and deployed to like a separate staging environment. So I could send it to my clients and to a content team, if this content was incorrect, but obviously because all the content was in the Figma file, it's all here on my site. So I can go to Burgatorium and I can see here's the little change I just pushed up in, and now I can select it to be live. So now if I go to the live site and view that canopy editor from before, that's our site. It was new-store. I can now go to this page. Store. There we go. So, just a couple minutes, we've gone from not having this site on our local machine to building out a whole new page, then also deploying it to like a testing environment, and then going through again and deploying it to a production environment. On any other platform would still be setting up our local environment. So I think, the speed really is there. And now as a front-end developer, I don't need to work on building out forms or writing text copy. I can do something that's truly challenging. I guess another key thing is if this page was more complicated, maybe it had a longer form, so more sections or more copy, the 4 hours of development time could be more. It could be 6, 7, 8 hours. Well, for the Blutui developer using our MCP, it's still just going to be the same 2 minutes that it was. This is really only the surface of this technology. The MCP can interact with all the core elements of the Blutui CMS. So we just touched on the page creation and the form creation. We also have a managed database tool, a menu builder, and a blog builder, all of which can be edited with the MCP. So I can set up managed databases. I can set up and import all the data to them as well. No longer do you need to worry about bulk data import. It's got so many things that just really enhance the front-end developers' workflow that we're really excited about it. And yeah, that's the core of the demo.
Thanks, Tyler. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, the whole thrust behind building out Blutui right from day one has always been to support front-end developers and make their work life a whole lot easier, and that reflects on the agency. It provides ample opportunity for additional margin, a lot more profit, obviously, and the ability, and it creates capacity. It almost instantly creates capacity within a studio. So whether you have front-end developers on your team or whether or not you bring them in externally from your business, so maybe you've got a web provider or help, or maybe you use freelancers, our platform is set up that you can bring in your talent from basically anywhere, and you can have them building your projects using the latest tools, the latest technologies. It's hyper efficient, and you can choose to basically use that additional time or the additional margin or whatever to either be more competitive. You can bank it. You can, you run your business however you want. But Blutui, because we're all ex-agency and we all know the pressures of, the pressures are everywhere. And so we're doing the bit that we know how to do to alleviate those pressures and give agencies a really competitive chance at winning more work, executing it really quickly, scaling without having to scale the chaos along with the good stuff. And yeah, I mean, we think it's an absolute winner. and if there are agencies on this call who are currently wrestling with development projects, anything from micro, simple landing pages and microsites, right the way through to what you'd consider to be a medium range complexity web application, you can be using Blutui to deliver the lot. It really is a workhorse for your studio. So if there's any questions, I'd love to hear them, and Tyler's here to answer them.
If you've got multiple developers, say working on something at the same time, how does something like Git work with that?
That's really a really good question. So we have a cassettes feature. This is one on my screen right now. The point of this feature was actually for multi-developer. That's like we can use it for many things. You could use it for like deploying from staging to production. You could have maybe some promotions stocked up, maybe like a Christmas promotion, then you can instantly put live the Boxing Day promotion. But what this feature was actually built for is so that you and I could both be working on the same project in our own separate, I'm going to use the word branch, like a Git branch. So I can be working on my cassette, you can be working on your cassette. We're not stepping on each other's toes, and then you can merge them together using a tool like Git, not using, we don't have a merge tool, and then deploying them to like a final production. We do not have a version control system within cassettes. It's really just simple like templates. So if I wanted to like almost version this, I could go click these 3 dots and I could duplicate it, give it a new name at 1.2, new demo, sure. And now what I've done is I've essentially made a new version. So the way Git would work is I would merge this into this one here. The way cassette works is I now change the main branch essentially. So yeah, it's not like a replacement for a version control system like Git. We still use Git ourselves. You would have seen it running in my terminal. But this is just a tool that allows multi-developers to work together, editing the same live site, or do other things as well.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, it is particularly useful, and we know that it's being used quite a lot for when clients have brands who are constantly in campaign mode and they're switching from campaign to campaign. You can basically pre-build as many campaigns as you like and then just switch them over with a click of a button. Literally as many as you like. It's almost infinite, isn't it, Tyler? You can have a back catalogue of front ends for your site.
It is infinite. Yeah.
So do you have specific instructions written for the MCP because obviously you showed the integration with Claude there. So are there specific files that you've set up to sort of narrow the scope of what sort of Claude will think about and execute?
Yeah, so we've built a whole bunch of we've got 2 things. For one, we've got all the tools we've built within the MCP. So for starters, it's like the documentation search tools, the big one. Just so it has a good understanding of the platform itself. And then we have an agents markdown file that's included in like the default template.
Yeah. That
gives the agents, hey, say you're using Blutui, attempt to use these tools that are available to you. We've since now changed it so it's like more of a skills focused MCP. So you're not like searching all our documentation we've ever written using 1 million tokens for every single prompt. Obviously that's like an issue in modern AI, is like a worry of, well, they sell tokens, so they want you to use more. We're trying to make ours as efficient as possible.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys. There was actually a question that the guys at Balcom asked on Monday's call that I thought maybe would be useful to bring up again. It was regarding the fact that clients are concerned about owning their sites, and that should they part ways with agency in the future, they want to have ownership of it. So can you just explain again for this group how that would work with Blutui?
Yeah, of course. So that is a big worry about like who owns the site essentially. With Blutui, well, I guess it's between you and your client who owns the site. So if you had a client that's wanting to separate from the agency, you can just transfer it to another Blutui account. Or if they want to transfer it away from your agency and away from the platform, Blutui is basically just using a static site builder. So it's HTML and CSS. You can take that static site and put it anywhere else. There are small elements that'll need rework, like you can't use the Blutui form system if you're not on the platform. But yeah, it's really easy to re-platform the site, or it's even easier to set up the site in a new Blutui agency that's like special for your client.
So in the instance that a client leaves your agency and goes to another agency, that other agency is it just literally needs a Blutui license, and we can the site can be transferred near instantly. It's another thing that we concentrated on, is how much time some agencies burn, unbillable time offloading sites, client sites, if they ever leave. That can be quite a time-consuming thing, and it's a thankless task. And so we've made it so that a Blutui site can just be literally it's send an email and push a button and it's done.
Yeah,
it's transferred. Yeah.
Brilliant, thanks. Are there any other questions for Tyler or Graeme at the moment? No, all good. Well, we will definitely share your contact details, guys, with everyone. One other thing I wanted to mention was that as part of the continued partnership that we have with Blutui, they are offering an amazing 15% lifetime discount exclusively to Tribe Global members. Graeme, I don't know if you want to briefly kind of explain how that works. I believe it's off of users or seats.
Yeah. It's essentially, I mean, Blutui is your typical SaaS model. It's a per seat per month rate at which we'll take us 15% straight off it, and for the life of the relationship, which can obviously clock up. But yeah, and we ideally we talk to our agency clients and kind of understand their model, because not terribly many agencies are exactly the same. Some might be, we've got performance marketing agencies that are just pumping out microsites and landing pages all day long, and that's a very different model to other kind of more brand agencies who are building out beautiful UX UI kind of experiential sites. And so we kind of we price the arrangement a little bit differently, making concessions for volume sites and white glove service. So but regardless of what we end up with, it's 15% off the top.
Yeah. Okay,
which
awesome.
we're happy
Thank
to
you.
do. Yeah.
We'll share all the details in the coming weeks about the discount and exactly what that looks like. And of course, we'll share the recording and your details with everyone. And yeah, I'd just like to say thank you so much for joining us and talking us through everything. And if anyone has any questions, feel free to contact the guys directly.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Hope everyone has a great day.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks
Thank you.
everyone.